listening to Opinions and Beer.
Stone Cold Steve Austin knows that the Opinions and Beer podcast exists in this world.
My sex act, crazy bike.
No, bro, I can't drop out of the scene for 14 months and show up as a co-host. I'm a
Donkey show right in the middle of the...
And they always say to review IPAs last. The bitterness can destroy your palate for other beers.
And opinions and beer. Two guys and another guy. Will never happen again.
Hello, everybody. I'm Adam with Opinions and Beer. I wanted to go ahead and make this quick little thing before the interview begins. So the first 2 minutes of the interview were sadly unrecorded, and therefore we do not have the first 2 minutes. It was a technical error that occurred, and so what you missed in that first 2 minutes was Michael Gross commenting on my outfit, saying he loved my outfit and said it was an outrageous look. And then he said that his favorite beer, I told him about the beer of the day, was Ingenious Peanut Butter versus Jelly. And he told me that his favorite beer is a Bulgarian beer. So because that is no longer there, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick read of a opening scene of Tremors 8, a potential Tremors 8. Here is the opening scene, Tremors 8. And then after this opening scene that I read, it'll be the interview with Michael Gross. Film opens. It's nearly sundown in the Nevada desert. A military jeep, truck, whatever, zooms through. A bunch of trash and paper fly into the air with them. The camera follows one of the papers as it hits a boulder on the side of a mountain wall. The paper is a page from a newspaper saying, "Where is El Blanco? El Blanco, not seen in over 5 years." Cut back to the Jeep. It comes to a halt. We see multiple pair of boots get out. Lights, flashlights. There we go. We see a hand with the EMF meter. The EMF meter individual walks up to the side of a mountain and is scanning the mountain wall. The EMF meter starts beeping. And then faster. Now it's going crazy. One of the individuals feels around the mountain wall and finds an indention. They press into the indention, and it opens a key card panel. One of them calls for the key. They reach into their bag and pull out a blood-stained key card. They swipe the card, and the mountain wall begins to rattle and move. An opening soon appears. The crew walk inside, and it's a massive research lab. One of them removes their tactical mask. "We've got a lot of work to do." Tremors 8, Perfection Paradise, 7 years later. Whoa! Crazy stuff. Now, please enjoy my interview with Michael Gross.
The credit begins and ends with the writers. I'm merely an interpreter. That being said, Michael J. Fox was a wonderful talent. He was a young man at the time. Meredith Baxter, extraordinary. Justine Bateman and Tina Yothers, perfectly cast. It was the chemistry was marvelous, and I'll talk about that show anytime. It was, to me, sitcom history. And you know what I remember, that what I love the most about it, as I look back on it now, is the way people settled their differences. Remember, we were on very different sides of the aisle at that point. Conservative kid, Michael J. Fox, carrying his attaché case. A poster of William Buckley, the arch conservative, on his wall, and liberal parents. But the things that held us together were far stronger than the things that pulled us apart. And we were able to joke about conservatism and activism, and they would kid us about tofu, and we would kid. It was just different. I wish we could settle our differences as in the same way today, and I would hope that all people in Congress would go back and watch Family Ties now and again and see how easy it is to get along.
Right? Yeah. One of my favorite episodes was the Tom Hanks episode. That was great, but even though it attacks me, alcoholics. But
yeah,
fun.
Tom
What was that
Hanks
episode like, filming that?
Well, we had a lot of great. Gina Davis was on the show before she those days. Tom Hanks. I remember that show well. So alcoholic that he had to sneak into the Keaton kitchen and drink vanilla extract at night.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it was. We tackled some important issues. I mean, in the 7 years we were there, very important issues, and yet always with this great blend of comedy. Never lost sight of the fact that we were a sitcom. So I have nothing but praise for that show and the people who wrote it.
Do you feel like that might be missing nowadays in shows? Because I feel like a lot of shows, your show, even the older Roseanne episodes, or even what's the three blondes? The three blonde ladies show, Golden Girls. Even
Golden Girls, yeah.
Golden Girls. Like I feel like there's all those shows used to tackle things very well and very positively. It actually taught you something where newer shows don't really. I feel like they don't really grasp that concept.
I'm not the best one to ask, to be quite honest with you. I don't watch as much television as I used to.
Okay.
Among other things, there's so much streaming out there and stuff like that, and I get hooked into some. Right now, we're watching some French thing with subtitles. We've been binge watching this thing that was made in France, and that is a beautifully written show. And so I miss a lot. There are hundreds of things. When we began Family Ties in 1982, count them. There were 3 channels: ABC, CBS, and NBC. Fox came along a year or 2 later. 4 channels. These were the choices. Now there are hundreds. I can't keep track of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what's going to happen. You're just going to muddy the waters with too much. It's too much content. It's great. It's fun. It's fun for the viewer to have all this content available, but then you muddy the waters with things that just aren't. They don't measure up to things that used to.
Well, I think that's true. And the thing that we're missing too is the way people used to watch things together. So families, they brought families together because you'd say, okay, we're going to watch Family Ties, or we're going to watch Cheers, we're going to watch The Cosby Show, whatever it was. And so you had something in common. Now there's a kind of, for lack of a better word, balkanization of media, where you can go watch your thing on your device, you can go watch your thing on your device, and you don't have that commonality. And that was something, I think, with all these choices, that's been lost as well.
Yeah. Now, I don't drink vanilla extract, maybe peppermint extract here and there, but I'm not there yet.
Right. It's a progression.
Yeah, it's a progression. Now, soon after the show, you find yourself filming Tremors as the character Burt Gummer, alongside with the film debut of country singer Reba McEntire. You're the husband, you're essentially a doomsday prepper couple. The leads would end up being Kevin Bacon, fresh off Footloose, and Fred Ward. What was the filming of the first Tremors like? And did you have any idea how far and how long you'd be playing this character?
No. Like a lot of actors, I'm a fatalist. I'm simply assuming that once I open my mouth, they're going to be sorry they cast me, and it's been a mistake. And this is going to be the last job I ever have if they keep me. So I had no idea. All I know is I was thrilled as could be to be there, because after 7 years of playing this wonderful liberal, touchy-feely dad, here was this paranoid, obsessive compulsive doomsday prepper, right wing, with a cache of weapons in his secret underground compound. And beyond I was just happy to be there because it was so different. And of course, thrilled to be working with somebody like Kevin and Reba, who I adored, and Fred Ward. It's a wonderful, wonderful cast, wonderful ensemble. So I was thrilled. Never had any idea it would last this long. I thought it was a one-off, and people discovered it in the aftermarket video. That's where it really started happening. Yeah. In those old days of VHS copies, when they passed it among friends, passed it amongst each other like a secret passion, and said, "Here's my dirty little secret. I found this weird, quirky little horror film," and it caught on, and it never said goodbye. Here we are in the 7th installment, and I'm absolutely thrilled because I think playing this character is comic gold. He's so much fun because comedy's about extremes, right? And this guy's extreme to the max, the way he deals with life.
So there was no, oh boy, giant worms. What did my agent get me into?
No, it's precisely what I wanted. Because the character was so different. And I grew up on monster movies when I was a kid. And this, in a funny way, reminded me the 40s and 50s monster movies because they weren't slasher movies. They weren't people killing other people. The bad guys were the monsters. The good guys were the human beings. It was very simple. It was, again, a kind of family-friendly kind of thing. And my character, who never met a gun he didn't love, never turns his gun on another human being in all 7 of these films. So again, I talk to people who say, I grew up watching this with my dad. Now I'm watching it with my kids.
Yeah.
And we still find it, maybe aside from a little offensive language here and there, very family-friendly because it's about people banding together to defeat a common enemy. It's great. And we don't kill each other. We kill the monsters.
Yeah. I was watching the whole series. I rewatched the entire series, the TV show, everything. I watched the whole thing with my 5-year-old son. He loved it. He's like, we're going to watch the next one. We're going to watch the next one. So
I hope so. Yeah.
It was fun family stuff. Besides some blood and guts here and there. But
blood and guts are okay as long as they're not human blood and guts.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a lot of points in that first film where your character could have been killed off. Was that ever like a possibility of because a lot of horror, and I know it's horror comedy, and that maybe that's what that line is. But I mean, usually a lot of horror films, you have like the one male and the one female would always live. There's 2 people. But
right.
in Tremors, there's a whole group of you, and just like you happen to be a part of that group that survive.
With the exception of 1 or 2 characters, most of the people in that town survived Tremors 1. Yes. And we returned to, in Tremors 3, something called Back to Perfection, where I was, in fact, swallowed by one of these creatures, and then underground, and then someone dug me out of the creature and cut the creature open with a chainsaw.
Yes.
And I emerged, like Lazarus from the grave, to be in the other sequel. So I've been one of the lucky ones. Let's just put it that way.
Well, when was that decision made to start making sequels? And how did they know that you were going to become one of the forefront characters?
Well, I can tell you this. First of all, the last part of your question, the forefront character happened because everybody else dropped away. It's that simple. It's not like I wanted to be the center of attention. I always thought he was a great character on the fringes, surrounded by normal human beings. But Kevin left after the first film. Fred Ward left after the second film. Reba did none of the others. And so I'm the last man standing. And whenever somebody would come to me and say, look, would you like to play Burt Gummer again? I was like, of course I do. The comedy possibilities are so great with this guy. I can't say no. So I guess Michael Gross was as much as a survivalist as was Burt Gummer. Everybody else dropped away. And so I floated to the top. And but it wasn't my intention. It was just pure dumb luck, I guess. And the fact that people kind of fell in love with this character. I think he has a great heart underneath that crusty exterior, because as impatient as he is with the idiots who don't listen to them, the fools that pay him no attention when he warns about the things they should avoid, by God, he'll say, you're an idiot, you're a fool, you didn't listen, you're incompetent, but by God, I'm going to save your ass. So that to me is great. He's like, I'm not going to let you die. You're an idiot, but I'm going to save your ass. And I love that about the guy. He keeps coming out of retirement to save other people because he doesn't think anybody else could do it.
Yeah, right. So what happened? What happened with Kevin Bacon? There was rumors that he was going to be in the second one. He dropped out while y'all were shooting.
I don't know the full story.
Oh, okay.
But it was my understanding. This is just rumor. I don't presume to speak for Kevin, right? Okay. And that the film was considered a kind of failure at the box office. Okay. It really didn't take off until the after video market. And I think Kevin felt, God, I was the leading guy in a failure. Do I really want to do a second one? I guess because so. It made money theatrically, but it was not this howling success. To my chagrin, I wish it had been, because it could have been really my Breaking Bad moment for everybody to see me in wide range to say, oh my God, it's so different from Stephen Keaton. So I'm not complaining, believe you. Here I am 30 years later, still playing a wonderful character. But it would have been a vastly different thing had, Kevin decided to come back for a sequel in Tremors 2 or 3, all that sort of thing. And instead, but no complaints from me. I would wish nothing more than to have Kevin, Reba, Fred Ward, these marvelous people together in the same film again. Believe you me. I mean, it would have been my greatest wish.
Yeah. Moving on to the y'all did film the TV series. Y'all had like what was that 18 episodes, something like that, 15, 16 episodes.
Probably a little less, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe but anyway, but it was not a great marriage, unfortunately. It was with
a great marriage.
No, unfortunately, the producers and the Sci-Fi Channel had very different ideas of the concept. In some ways, we wanted to settle in with those people in the town of Perfection, Nevada, those quirky human beings, and follow their lives a little more, develop the characters a little more. And in some ways, what the Sci-Fi Channel, it's a whole different Sci-Fi Channel right now. It's run by a completely different group of people. The Sci-Fi Channel wanted a different monster every week. And it was like, we'd like to kind of get to know these characters a little bit. And it was all about monsters. And seriously, we as characters and producers were talking about, what is it like for Bert to go online to try to find another woman and things like that. We wanted more personal things happening in their lives, along with the monster hunting. Yeah, living alongside this graboid called El Blanco, who was a protected species at that time. And it was just it was different concepts, and I think ultimately the original writers on Tremors and the Sci-Fi Channel, they were not getting along. And I'm sorry about it, because it would have been a lot of fun, because this character
I hold the show in high regard. It's actually even among the films, I felt like the TV series was fun. I felt like I got to know the characters. I really enjoyed like what y'all were able to do with all the wacky people that showed up, and that annoying dude that he just shows up randomly, like, "Hey guys, I want to help you out." They're like, "Get out of here! There's killer flowers killing people."
And there were some great people on that. If you
Christopher Lloyd was in there for
Christopher Lloyd. I love my work with Christopher. Came back a time or two. Oh, he's a wonderful man and a wonderful actor, and we've shared the same stage together as well on occasion, and he's just wonderful. And Sarah Rafferty from Suits. I don't know if you ever watched Suits, but Sarah, the redheaded lady on Suits, I forget her name, character in Suits. She appeared a time or two, and just some great people came through. So I just, good memories, but it just, there was a lot of screaming and shouting in the writing.
And I remember that
people were not getting along because they had completely different ideas, and there were personality clashes. I was on the set, and so was not witness to them, but I heard the stories.
Yeah. Okay? Because I don't know, I was gonna say that I don't know if y'all knew about some of like because what I hated about what the Sci-Fi Channel did was they started releasing the episodes out of order, and
that's that's exactly right. So it was hard to understand. Exactly,
and when I watched it, because y'all have the entire series on the Tremors YouTube channel, and so I went back and watched it in order. And I'm like, oh, these episodes make sense now. I thought they were just doing random episodes here and there, but no, it's actually a I knew those writers write continuous stories. They don't just do random stuff. I think that's what I really loved about the older writers. I felt like they were really good at continuing the story and like making everything flow really well.
I don't have a preference for stage, screen, small screen, big screen. It's the writing that makes it good for me. The subject matter, what is on that page. I have the greatest respect for the writers, and to this day I credit S.S. Wilson, Steve Wilson, and Brent Maddock for creating the character of Burt Gummer. Other writers have taken over in their absence. This wonderful director Don Michael Paul, who did this latest 5, 6, and 7. Brian Brightly, who wrote 7. They've all stepped in, but Burt began with Steve Wilson, Brent Maddock, Ron Underwood, the original director, who later went on to direct City Slickers. You may know that. Ron's a wonderful guy. it begins with him.
Yeah.
I didn't create this character. I just encompass the beautiful things that they began to write. And so I've become a kind of, in their absence now, I feel myself a kind of defender of the series, if you will, an advocate of Bert, because new writers have come on. And I usually, as I've become a greater part of this, and really, for better or worse, the old man in the series, metaphorically and actually, I've become an advocate for Bert and a defender of Bert, and say, no, Bert wouldn't say it that way, or well, let's get this right, let's polish this, because we haven't quite got Bert's voice yet. And so I wind up doing some of Bert's dialogue in conjunction with others, and also trying to follow his emotional life through the piece, which is important to me. Monster hunting is fun, but to me, the inner monsters of everybody are far more interesting, right?
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, the hurdles we face in our own lives, and in 5, 6, and 7, we've tried to do that. In 5, here comes Jamie Kennedy saying to this man who's a complete misanthrope, who wants nothing to do with other human beings, and in walks somebody who says, "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm your son." Like, whoa, what? You know, you are my closest relationship, and I'm going to build a relationship with you. It's like he just wants to run from that. In Tremors 6, we dealt with Bert dealing with his own mortality.
Yeah.
Infected with graboid venom. What would life be like without a Bert Gummer? He has to. Does he pass the reins on to somebody else? And in 7, if you haven't seen it yet, this is not a great. I'm not spoiling too much, just to say there's a female in here who basically calls Bert to account for his entire lifestyle, basically saying, is this solitary thing really working for you? This go it alone thing? And she basically, like any woman will do to any man, you know this, is say, you're full of crap. You're full of crap. Something a man wouldn't say to Bert Gummer, but only a woman would say.
Yeah.
Have the guts to say, you know, man, you're doing this all wrong. You've made all the wrong turns. You are full of crap. Guys wouldn't say that to Bert, but a woman is like, whoa, what? I love knocking Bert off his pins, off his place of comfort, not just with the monsters, but internally. It's like it's like, whoa, what are you telling me here? So, you know, the personal battles as well as the monster battles are always fun for me.
Yeah.
We've also got some great people in this. Do you know Richard Brake from Game of Thrones?
Yes.
He plays my nemesis in this one. He's the bad guy in this thing. Richard is so wonderful. John Heater, who plays my sidekick from Napoleon Dynamite.
Heck yeah.
Oh, John is the best. John's the best. So, I mean, we've got we've got a great comic team as well. So yes, these things will really eat you, but you can laugh. You can laugh while you're being eaten.
Right. And you know, yeah, something is great about these characters. Something's amazing. That's why, you know, Tremors, that first episode on the show, is still the #1 watched show on Sci-Fi. That day, it was the debut episode, was still the #1 episode ever for this Sci-Fi channel. So I think that's pretty.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, it's still to this day, because I think that they had it was the highest viewership for any debut show, and it's yet to be beat.
Wow. Okay. Well, now you make me wish we had stuck with it.
That's what I'm saying. Well, they, like you said, there's a lot of weird stuff in the background, and then the Farscape fans were mad because apparently Farscape got canceled around the same time, and so they were like advocating for it to be canceled, and it was a bunch of weird stuff that happened with that. But
did you know that Bert Gummer is also running for president? I should tell you.
Yes, and it's a bummer if you don't vote for Gummer.
Absolutely, Gummertarians unite. This was an idea we had when we were filming. Over the years, fans have said, "Man, I wish Bert Gummer were the president. I'd vote for Bert." And we said, "Wait a minute. This is an election year. We're coming out in an election year, weeks before a national election. We should have Bert run for president." So we started writing these things. We have 8 of them. 4 or 5 of them are out now. I think at least 4 of the episodes. We have 8 episodes. And so Bert is the write-in candidate. I told my wife, get that inauguration ball gown ready, you know. This could happen. This could happen.
Hey, it might. I mean, we got the Mighty Ducks. We have the Mighty Ducks kid running for president. And we have Kanye West running for president. Why not vote for Gummer?
If Kanye beats me, I'm going to be really I'm just telling you right now. But I refuse to. If Kanye West gets more votes than me, I will not concede for the next 4 years. I'm going to continue running for president.
Woo!
So there. Yeah.
There we go.
No concession for this guy.
That's funny. So well, what's
That's on, that's on YouTube in case people don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Burt
Go
Gummer for
check out on
president on
YouTube
YouTube.
his promotional videos for vote for Gummer. Vote for Gummer. I voted for Gummer. I don't have my I vote sticker, but I wrote you in. So
Gummer 2020, go for it.
So what was the biggest difference between the original creative team and the current team that has come in since Tremors 5?
That's a good one. There was a 13-year hiatus between Tremors 4 and Tremors 5. And again, this is the behind the scenes stuff. Universal Home Entertainment decided they'd had enough. After 4, it's like, nah, we don't want to do any more. We're finished. We loved it. It's good, but it's over. And I thought, okay, 4 is a good place to stop. We've made our little quartet. That works. 13 years after that, there was a wonderful woman, a producer, who was there at the beginning, who was still at Universal, a woman named Patty Jackson. I was just on the phone with her yesterday, who called me after 13 years and said, we're going to do another Tremors. I said, what? She said, well, I've been trying to convince people for 13 years, and now the people at the top have changed and they're open to it, and we're going to restart the franchise. And I said, whoa, I can't believe this. I thought it was over. So that was the beginning of Tremors 5. And Patty was just the most wonderful thing. That was Tremors 5. She has since left, turned over Tremors 6 and 7 to somebody else named Cher Stallings. It might surprise you to know that this crazy thing is now being run by some wonderfully crazy, warped females. These are not these action adventure films are being produced by some incredibly wonderful, wacky women who love the franchise, and it's like, yeah, go for it. So Cher did the last two, 5, 6, and 7, and they've just been wonderful. But what changed the most is we realized we had to find a slightly different take. It had been 13 years. People were used to social media, a slightly different generation. Yeah. And so they brought in new writers. Frankly, for whatever reason, the old writers, I don't know the full story, but they didn't have quite the control they wanted to. The original people from Tremors 1 through 4, who I absolutely loved, again, Steve, Brent, Ron Underwood, they backed away. They brought in new people. And I must say, I've been extremely happy with the director of 5, 6, and 7, Don Michael Paul, who came in and has done all of these, came in with fresh ideas. Again, a good sense of comedy, action adventure. And it was a kind of reinvention in some ways. I think probably the biggest difference for me is Burt has more internal conflict. That is to say, he was kind of basically a standard monster hunter. And in 5, 6, and 7, something I've always wanted to do, and we didn't get a chance to do on the series, is have Burt deal with some of his own emotional hurdles, put him in places where he's emotionally uncomfortable as well as uncomfortable with the monsters themselves. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest difference. And very different locales. Most of these have been in the desert Southwest. So 5 was in Africa. Oh, yeah. 6 was in the Arctic, and 7 is in the Solomon Islands in the South Pacific. And have you seen it yet? I'm just curious.
Yes, I have seen the movie 3 times already.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I should tell you, I actually eat a grub in that first scene, and that is my actual beard. We knew we were going to be filming in Thailand. I knew there was heat. I knew there was humidity. So I thought, I don't want to deal with fake hair and glue. It's just going to be peeling off constantly. So I grew a beard months in advance, which was really comfortable to have, and just, but it was so unkempt that for months before I went out to Thailand to do this, I'd walk into it was so kind of grisly and everything. I'd walk into a restaurant and people would say, "I'm sorry, sir, the washrooms are for customers only."
Oh no.
That kind of thing, you know. It looked like I should be pushing a shopping cart, seriously.
Oh, no.
So, you know, it was pretty unkempt. And my dear, patient, wonderful wife of 35, 30 plus years had to look at that scruggly, awful looking face across the breakfast table every morning for months. And she's glad it's gone. She's glad the mustache is gone. She likes a clean face. So I saved the marriage by shaving.
You're right. So yeah, Tremors 7, Streaker Island. There's no Jamie Kennedy in this one. That's just some behind the scenes stuff? He just couldn't make it. Was
that's
John
behind that? My understanding is there was a first draft with Jamie in it. My understanding was an offer was made, and for some reason, Jamie decided he didn't want to be a part of it. I don't presume to speak for Jamie. I don't want to get this wrong.
Yeah.
I did 2 films with Jamie. Was ready to do a third, and something happened, and I'm not privy to all the details. Some things I'm better off not knowing. I don't want to. I don't know. It's not my business.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, on Tremors, I think it was Tremors 6. Tremors 6, I was. I am a strange guy. I was a producer on Tremors 6. Right up until we started filming, and I called my agents. I said, "I want you to renegotiate." He said, "What?" He said, "What do you want now?" And the Universal said, "What more does he want?" And I said, "No, actually, I want less. Take my producer credit away." It was like, "What?" And I said, "You know, I don't want to worry about all these other problems. I just want to show up, play Bert, learn my lines, hit my marks, and not worry. I don't want people coming to me with my problems." Producer to me was just an ego thing. Yes, I participated in the making of it, and the dialogue and the storyline and all that. But I said, no, I'm an actor. I want to show up, do my work, keep it simple. So he said, "You're the first person we've ever known who renegotiated to have his name taken off as a producer credit." Most people want more. You want less. I said, "Well, I'm a minimalist. Call me."
It was just too stressful.
I want to go. I just want to worry about my lines.
I just want to come make a damn Tremors movie. God,
how do I look? How's my costume? How's my makeup? I don't want to know about anybody else's problems.
But it's crazy that was John Heder always a part of the original script, or did they have to factor him in where Jamie Kennedy was?
When the character of Jamie was removed, when that didn't work out, and then they had a kind of sidekick, this new guy coming in, and the offer was just made. I don't think John had to. He had a good reputation for comedy and good old Napoleon Dynamite and all that other sort of thing. And the offer was made to him. And when I heard he was doing this, I was absolutely thrilled.
Heck yeah, it's awesome. I love the minute. I love y'all's too. I feel like in this one that you and John Heder actually had somewhat of a better chemistry than you and Jamie Kennedy in the last 2.
Well, maybe because, Jamie, Bert has an edge. Jamie has an edge too, just, Jamie being Jamie. And so in a sense, John Heder is, I don't know, maybe a little more innocent, a little more guileless. And, he doesn't have quite that edge. He's just this goofy guy. And so maybe that's part of it, because we are perhaps more opposite, as opposed to both of us being kind of gritty and edgy. But I loved working with Jamie, and again was ready to work with him again. Yeah. And I don't know what happened, but that's showbiz. That's showbiz.
It's just showbiz.
You've seen the film. Thank you for not spoiling it. And I will say, people ask me from time to time, "Oh, there's no way there's going to be a sequel." And I say, well, sales drive sequels.
Yes.
If this does well, I have a feeling Universal Home Entertainment is going to say, "Okay, it's time for another Tremors." It's that simple. Show business, you're a part of it. show is 5%. Show business is 5% show and 95% business. If this sells, if it gets the excitement and the sales they want, there will probably be a sequel because they don't want to turn down the money.
What was some of your best moments working on this latest Tremors movie?
Well, I don't know. There's always behind the scenes stuff that's fun, just because it was a lovely cast. John was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Jackie Cruz, the singer and actress who was on Orange is the New Black, played in this. Richard Brake, from Game of Thrones, my nemesis in this piece. Really scary dude. I don't mean off stage. I mean, on screen, and who I loved working with. Another top guy like Chris Lloyd, just really committed and really intense. Who else? Great times together off the set. Jackie Cruz particularly tickled me because she's a total animal lover. So she, oh my God, poor Jackie. She would always, we had, lots of animals running around, monkeys and stuff like this, and other animals on screen. I think we had elephants at one point, all this sort of stuff. And Jackie always wanted to play with the animals. If there was animal around, birds, monkeys, half the time while we were rehearsing, Jackie would have a monkey on her shoulder, and we'd have to say, Jackie, we have to film, put the monkey down. Put the monkey down so we can film. And poor Jackie actually got scratched or bitten once and had to get rabies shots while she was on the set because they were afraid of that. But she was like Dr. Doolittle all the time with these things. John and I had great times. Well, this is not a great moment, but I'll be honest with you. I hurt myself pretty badly on this thing. I tore my rotator cuff.
Jeez.
Doing one of the stunts. And it was a stunt where you say, well, why don't you have a stunt guy? Can't you pay him? No, it was one of those things where my face had to be on camera. They couldn't substitute somebody else. It was not shot from behind me. It was shot right at me. And it was a fall through the camera in slow motion. And I had to land on something. And on one of those landings, I just tweaked something. And I thought, damn, you've done something bad to yourself. You've just done something really bad. And I had to do more takes, and I had to do 2 more weeks of this filming with a torn rotator cuff and with machetes and all that sort of stuff. Oh man, it killed me. So that was tough. I existed on the last 2 weeks with muscle relaxants and a lot of painkillers, liniment and stuff like that. But what I really needed was surgery. I finally got that, and I'm still doing physical therapy now to get the full use of my shoulder back. But I've hurt myself in other one of these things. I blew out a knee, I think in Tremors 2 or 3. I've broken ribs, just certain falls and things like that. So I keep thinking of new and inventive ways to hurt myself.
You should become a professional wrestler with that background.
Yeah, and I don't want that pain. I would be dressing like you, though. I would be dressing like you.
Yeah, 30. You've been playing this character for 30 years. It's the same time. It's the same amount of time as Undertaker's been playing. So you've been in people's livelihood. You've been in their childhood. You've grown up with people, and now we hear Tremors 7. It's everywhere. Netflix. I want to get into some spoiler talks in a second. So if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. Pause this. Exit out. Come back.
Yeah. Leave the room.
Because I want to chat a little bit about the spoilers. So you have 5 seconds to exit out. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh my God! Burt Gummer dies. He was eaten. Why'd you let him do it? You did it. You told them to let him do it. I'm so mad.
Okay, not my idea. Okay. This was discussed. This was discussed in one of our, before we started shooting, in one of our last drafts of the screenplay. And they said, how would you feel if this is the last film for Burt? And I said, well, to be honest with you, many years ago, I thought the fourth one was going to be the last one. So the fact that we've made 7, 3 more is icing on the cake. And I said, I don't know. I would miss this, but on the other hand, I'm getting older. 7 might be a good place to stop. Even then, though, on location, the ending was shot 2 different ways, with Bert surviving and with Bert not surviving. They still, up until we were on the set, we weren't sure what was going to happen. It was only later, I should say, so they did this kind of a memorial service for Bert. And they also were doing a memorial service where Bert climbs up over the cliff in the middle of the memorial service and looks at all of them and says, "Geez, I'm not dead yet." He's totally pissed off at them for even assuming that he would be killed, So we shot it 2 ways, and it was only this year, we finished the film in December 2019, and it was only sometime in the spring they came to me while they were in the editing room and said, "Wow, it really seems dramatic. It really seems dramatic if he doesn't make it." It's like this moment where we're going to get tears from people. It's so high drama. They said, "We'd really like to do it that way." And I said, "Look, it's not up to me. I can live with it either way. That's fine. With this exception, we never see a corpse. We never see his remains. So for all we know, he's survived being eaten once. It could happen again. Maybe he's banged up and wandered away in a daze. Maybe he's buried somewhere in a coma. We don't know." So we've, in a way, because we never see Bert Gummer's remains, they're assuming he's dead. But we've left the door open for a sequel.
That's intense. Fun stuff. It's crazy. It's just so crazy. I was just watching it whenever you jump up and you're flipping off the graboid, and it looks like he eats you, and then you get impaled and then explode. So he eats you, impaled, explode. If you survive that, you are Jesus.
I'll probably be walking on water in Tremors. That's right.
The opening scene of Tremors 8. Bert Gummer walking on water.
So let's just say the door is open there, and sales drive sequels.
Yeah.
And I've already thought of 2 beginnings, 2 ways to begin Tremors 8 if they're going to get to that. Seriously, I have 2 ideas for how Tremors 8 begins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But some of this is out of my control. It has a lot to do with Universal, with what Universal Home Entertainment wants to do. They make these decisions. Ultimately, it's not my baby. I'm just another employee with a strong voice, yes, but the decision is not mine.
No, we do a silly segment on the show.
Back in the room?
Huh?
Can we invite people back into the room again?
Yes.
Are we finished with the spoilers?
Yes, we are. We're finished with the spoilers. Everyone can come back in wherever you are. Come back, listen to the rest of the episode. Now we do a segment here on the show where we kind of do like these pitches, right? We just did it with John Heater on the we just had John Heater on the show last week.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and so we do this little pitch thing, and so I would like to pitch to you, and you can give it a rating A to F. A grade. It's like give it a grade of the pitch for Tremors 8. Is that okay?
You're gonna give me the pitch?
I'm gonna give you the pitch for Tremors 8, and you got to give it a rate. Yeah, a grade if you would.
All right. You're right. All right.
Okay.
Give me something.
Nothing has been seen in perfection for years. So the government has undeclared Perfection Valley a protected space. Melvin Pugh and Grady Hoover have since made a partnership and have decided to build a new getaway, complete with a small or cheap-ass water park, a tropical man-made beach, and in a very tropical setting in Perfection Valley, now known as Perfection Paradise. This suburban area is equipped with a sheriff and a deputy, Sheriff Stone Cold Steve Austin and Deputy Michael J. White. They soon become in over their heads after local teens accidentally let Mixmaster experiments loose, and soon must enlist the help of the one and only Burt Gummer, who seems to be mysteriously bound to a machine gun toting super speed wheelchair.
I'm loving it. All right. First of all, I'm going to give you an A because I love going back to perfection. People keep wanting us to go back to that town. And we've only touched on that town to some small degree. So I love the idea of perfection. Absolutely. I'm with you on that one. Jamie and I were back there briefly in Tremors 5, was it, or 6? Anyway, yes. Anyway, 6. Yes, 6. So we were there in the store, Chang's Market, and I love the idea of a wheelchair-bound Bert. I've often said to people, I could easily see Bert in a tricked-out wheelchair with rocket launchers on the side.
Yes.
And he's just like, he's just like pumping it. He leaves an oil slick behind.
Exactly.
Like,
I want to see him like rolling. I want to see him rolling across the desert and a graboid chasing him.
Oh yeah, with a jetpack wheelchair.
So
yeah,
because my biggest issue with the ending with 7 is that I feel like there's a whole story left in perfection that I did not notice get tied up. I want to see El Blanco story get tied up. I want to see the Mixmaster story get tied up, and I want that whole thing to kind of come to a head. And so I thought the idea of like they haven't been seen in a while, the government undeclared it. What's going on? You find out that there's like this. They're like basically you let Burt Gummer finally find the mountain hideout of the Mixmaster because he never got to find it in the series. It's just somewhere out there. And so I feel like it'd be cool to like tie up all the loose ends that were left throughout the series as a whole. Well, and also bring in some, you've never really seen big action stars. So that's why I kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Michael Jai White. They've done they do a handful of action stars, and Michael Jai White does a lot of comedy. And so I think they'd be a great, I feel like they'd be a great counter to like, they're like these big jacked up dudes, but they're having to turn to help this survivalist guy in a wheelchair.
I'm going to tell you something. You're not the only one who wants to see El Blanco too. I've heard that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Where's El Blanco? When are we coming back with El Blanco? These decisions, some of them are out of my hands. I can only make suggestions. I don't get the final vote, but that sounds like fun. And I'd love to go back to perfection any day of the week.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been a real pleasure.
It was super fun. Do you have anything last to say that I probably missed? Well,
we talked about Burt Gummer for president. The only other thing, a very, very different sort of thing. On November 8th, I have a Christmas movie coming out. It's called A Ring for Christmas on UPTV. And, one of those many Christmas movies that came out. Again, I made this before the COVID days. So, I have some pending things to do. And if COVID settles down a little bit, I might be able to do some other work. But right now, so it's this Tremors coming out, of course, and Shrieker Island, and A Ring for Christmas.
A Ring for Christmas,
which I pay the dad to a lovely young lady who's trying to.
Were you just in a Christmas movie? Noel? Was it Noel?
Oh yes, it was for Disney Plus. Yes,
Disney Plus. What's up with you, Tremors? It's either the desert or Christmas with you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Anna Kendrick was in that. Great. Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader. If I got that name right, yeah, right.
I think he might be Bill Hader.
Oh yeah, Bill Hader, right. Shirley MacLaine, a wonderful cast. So yeah, and that was done, again, small world, that was directed and written by a former writer from Family Ties.
Wow.
Yeah, so stay friends with,
everything just kind of comes full circle, right?
Yeah. So.
Well, I very appreciated having you on talking about Tremors. I love the franchise. I love the series. I love everything about it. And I really hope we get to see a Tremors 8, despite the ending, for 7. I really hope we push it through. So sales matters. Guys, if you're listening to this, if for some reason you still haven't seen Tremors 7, Go watch Tremor 7. Go buy Tremor 7. It's everywhere. It's free. If you have Netflix, you can watch it on Netflix. It all calculates in. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe. Stay well. Many blessings to you.
Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and join this thing, I guess. This is good. Okay. Episodes of Family Ties. Okay. It's actually recording already, so let's do this. I'm gonna Hello, welcome to Opinions and Beer. I'm sure you just heard our interview with Michael Gross. For that interview, we have now got to get to the beer of the day. And today's beer of the day is Peanut Butter versus Jelly Porter by Ingenious Brewing Company. This bad boy right here is 8.2% in alcohol by volume, conditioned on peanut butter, grape jelly, blueberry jelly, and strawberry jelly for dominance of this ultimate porter. 8.2%. Ingenious Brewing Company. We have quite a bit of fun with the Ingenious Brewing Company beers. They're usually really good. Can't wait to try. Ooh, it smells like grape jelly. Hardcore. Let's see. Let's pour this beer. Pours a very dark color. You can see on my ingenious glass that my wife bought. Ooh, it looks really good. Looks good. Oh, you can get the peanut butter. You can get the grape. The grape jelly is coming through smell-wise a lot more than the other jelly flavors. And then the peanut butter it follows right afterwards. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, am I lagging? What the hell's going on? Anyways, I'm gonna try this beer. Okay. Peanut butter's good. Now this beer's been sitting for a minute. I tried this beer. I tried this beer as soon as I bought it. Okay. So I've had this beer actually when I bought this beer because I didn't know when I was going to get to review it. I didn't want to sit in the fridge. I wanted to have it as fresh as possible. The jelly came through better then. Currently, after a few months of, I bought this back in August, I think. So 3 months of sitting in the fridge, the peanut butter is now the taste that has taken over. There's actually not as much jelly as when I first tried it 3 months ago. Not to say the jelly isn't there. Strangely enough, I said it's like a mix of all the jellies is what I'm tasting. Were originally, I think, yeah, the smell, the grapes coming through. Taste wise, it's a battle of supremacy for as far as jelly goes, it's a battle. It's a battle in my mouth. I don't know which jelly is jelly. Which jelly is gelling with my taste buds? It's a solid beer, though. solid beer. I think I'm going to give that beer and it was really tasty. It's really tasty. The jelly is a little too hidden, especially since we've had great PB&J beers now on the show from like Struggle Street Brewing Company. They make solid PB&J beers. I give those like a 9. So I'm going to give this one an 8.2 just because the jelly is like, even though I tasted it when I first had it, it's not coming through on the review, and therefore an 8.2 for PB versus Jelly by Ingenious Brewing Company. Do you agree? Did you like our interview? If not, well, that's just your opinion. And that's fine, because all we have here are opinions and beer.
We are a million and billion.